Welcome back to Sittoo's Garden. I'm so glad that you've taken your time to join me, and thank you so much for doing so. We got a lot of questions after the last video about the soil that I have in my raised beds, and so I wanted to talk to you a little bit about them and how we kind of got to this point and why we actually transitioned from in-ground beds to our raised beds. So we live on Cape Cod, and our native soils are really sandy. So this is actually the soil that is on my property. It's extremely sandy. I could open up a beach with a little bit of salt water. We could make a public beach out of my backyard. So, you know, really great for drainage, not so great for nutrient holding capacity. So, so we started to add compost. And so over 2 years, we added lots of compost, and we ended up with this. And this is what I did in ground. Still pretty sandy soil, but still didn't have enough of the organics that I wanted to give me the plant performance that I was looking for. So that's when we decided that I could either continue to add compost, and maybe in 3 or 4 years, I would actually have a soil that would be great for my vegetables. But instead, we decided to go ahead and do raised beds. And this is what's in there now. And if you could imagine taking some chocolate cake and just kind of putting it through your hand, that's what this is like. So this is really rich in compost and a really nice loam. I buy this in bulk locally, and I'm really excited about it. I add a little bit of peat moss to it just because my beds are not irrigated, and I want to make sure that I have enough water holding capacity to get me through the hot days of summer. But this is what we have now. So I think this is really what you're looking to get to in your garden beds. So I want to talk to you about whether you have, you know, the sand that we have, or whether you have hard packed clay, which by the way, I've had also when I lived in upstate New York. There's one thing that you can add no matter what to help your soil get better, and that's compost. So I went to the local nursery and I picked out 3 brands of compost. Each one is a little bit different than the other, and I just want to go through them really quickly to help you make your decision as to what you might want to buy. So we have 2 types of premium cow manures. These are both composted. One is dehydrated and one is not. So the dehydrated brand that I have is Jolly Gardener. I'm sure there's lots of others out there. But this one, what you want to do is to be sure that you're adding this at about a 1-to-4 blend with your garden soil. So you don't want to over add this. As you can see, it's really pretty heavy. And although it says it's dehydrated, it still has a water content to it. So this is going to be, you know, a blend of, and will also provide nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium to your soil in about equal amounts. The next one we have is the regular composted cow manure. And by the way, both of these have, it's not just straight cow manure, they both have other organics blended into them. But this one is, it's a little rougher, it's a little heavier, I would say, than the dehydrated. And again, we're going to add this with loam at a 1-to-4 around mix. So this is just another choice that you have. This is a little less expensive than the dehydrated. You're going to get a little bit more, potassium and phosphorus in this type than you will in this. So again, you just have to be careful that you don't add too much of this so that you have too much phosphorus in your soil. And last but not least is the lobster compost. This is an organic product, so if people who don't want to use cow manure or animal byproducts in there, or sorry, this has animal byproducts. who might not want to use cow manure, you can use lobster compost. I'm going to try this in my tomato beds this year, primarily because of its calcium content in lobster shells. So this is made from the lobster shells, and so I want to see how it performs, especially with my tomatoes. Calcium helps to improve the strength of stems, and so I'm looking forward to see what this one, how this one may help my tomato plants. And this one is a bit lighter. It's a really nice, I like the way this one feels, and I'm probably only going to put about maybe a half a bag in each one of those 3 by 10 foot raised beds that you saw in the last video. So those are 3 of the readily available types of compost. And remember, no matter what you buy, you want to blend this into your existing soil. And you know, it's going to take time to improve a really bad soil, but stay with it and I'm sure you will get better results. So if you have any questions, I would love to hear from you. Please, comment below and I'll try to answer as many questions as I can. And in the meantime, please stay safe, stay home, stay well, and stay tuned for more. Thanks so much for spending your time with me. Take care.